afternoon. We are here interviewing Coach White, head coach of women's bowling here at Prairie View A&M. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. So we want to talk to you a little bit about how your season has been going. You are you're closer to the end than you are to the beginning, but we want to start with how it's been going so far.
Well, I think the season's been going well, about as well as can be expected considering that we have such a young team this year. Actually, I'm really encouraged by the progress and how we progress through the season. Of course, we still have a ways to go. But good thing, again, is that every week, every day, every tournament, I continue to see progression and see where the team is making progress on things that we're working on. We've had a lot of good things to happen this year. With the freshmen, we've had some freshmen who have been on all tournament teams. We had one freshman who was actually MVP of one of the tournaments in our tournament last year, where we have the top 10 out of 12 teams. One of my bowlers, actually, again, a freshman, actually bowled the highest game of the tournament. So we've had some really good things happen, but we still have a ways to go with them getting acclimated to the college competition. We have some who are still working on their game and things like that. So I think based on all of those things in general, I'm pleased with where we are.
Talk to us a little bit about the difference in college bowling versus just what people are probably used to for like a Saturday afternoon game.
Well, it's a huge difference. For one thing, one difference is if you have never bowled, if you're not familiar with bowling in general, when it comes down to league bowling or just the difference between an outing with a family with the balls at the bowling center and you have someone who actually bowls and purchase their own balls. One thing that people may not know is that there is oil on the lanes. With us, with competition, we actually have lane patterns, meaning lane designs for the oil to be placed on the lane in a certain manner, where it's a certain volume in certain parts of the lane, more or less oil in certain parts of the lane, the length of the oil placed down. So all of these factors affect what we do in competition, and that's really our defense, so to speak, where we're not actually, even though there's another team that we're bowling against in a match, but our defense, or what our challenge is actually the oil pattern itself. The oil moves, it changes, so during the course of a match, you have to make decisions on what you need to do, where you're rolling your ball, what ball you need to use, those kind of things. It's a really technical sport. The format for our competition is a little bit different than the norm, where you can play a game and you win or lose. But everything we do is tournament play, which means from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday being the final day. We have 3 different formats that we compete in. First format is Baker format, where you have a Baker set. So you bowl. Baker format is where you have 5 bowlers. First bowler bowls the first and the 6th frame. Second bowler bowls the second and the 7th frame, and so forth. And so you bowl 5 games like that, and you take the total pin count of those 5 games, and the highest pin count of those 5 Baker games win the match. So that's one format. The second format is what we bowl on the second day, and that's team competition, which is regular, what most people are used to seeing when you go bowl in a bowling center, where you have 5 players who bowl 10 frames each, and then you take the total pin count of that game, and whoever has the highest count wins the match. The first and second day of competition, you take an accumulation of total pins, which details where you place in the tournament for bracket. Okay, it's not based on wins and losses, even though you want to win as many matches as you can. So to determine who wins the tournament, that's based on total pin count, and that sets the bracket for the final day of competition on Sunday. On Sunday, it's a different format. You still have the Baker games that you play, but now it moves to 4 out of 7. So the first team that wins 4 wins the match. Okay?
That has to be a different challenge for you recruiting players to play at a collegiate level who have obviously played the game before. They're not coming in unfamiliar.
Right.
So for your freshmen, what is that like, being able to train them into that new format?
It's always a transition, and when I'm recruiting, I always try to re-emphasize it's not going to be like high school, okay? Now, they are used to playing the Baker format and the types of formats that we play. The change is mostly the lane patterns are different. They're so much more difficult because they bowl on patterns also. But the patterns they bowl on are not nearly as challenging. They're not, the design of the pattern is not nearly as challenging. So I just to give you an idea of the difference, if they roll a ball and they're saying they're going to put the ball on the lane and get it in a certain area, and they pick a location they want to put it in, they can miss that location by 4 or 5 inches, so to speak. Each lane has boards, what we call boards, and those boards about 1 inch wide. So they can miss their target about 4 or 5 inches and still get to the pocket to get a strike. Mm-hmm. On our patterns, in some cases, you can miss your target by 1 board and end up in the gutter.
That is very challenging.
You have to be real precise, a lot more precise in hitting your target. You have to really understand lane play and read the lanes and read what the ball is doing and understand the design of the pattern. You have to be constantly adjusting because the pattern changes all throughout the course of the day of competition. Mm-hmm. So you may have to change your target. You may have to change your balls 2 or 3 times within the course of a day. So it's a lot more involved to be as consistent and to be able to win. At this level, this is the next level before they can actually go into professional bowling. So you have a lot of more highly knowledgeable bowlers in the collegiate level, and with our competition and how we compete in the tournaments throughout the year, every time we step out to a tournament, there are always 4 to 5 or more of the top 10 teams in the country. So you're constantly playing against top level teams all year long. So in order to compete, you have to really work on your game and start learning really quickly, or you're going to lose a lot of matches.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about, speaking of that high-level competition, you have a competition coming up this weekend. So talk to us a little bit about what that is, a SWAC Roundup.
Right.
So who are you going to meet, and what are you expecting out of that competition?
Well, it is our second conference roundup, which completes the regular season competition in our conference. We have 7 teams in our conference with bowling programs, and this again will be the end of the regular season competition. Mm-hmm. We have 3 days of competition. In our roundups, we only do one format, which is the team competition. So this would be a continuation of the last roundup. This determines the regular season champion. It determines all conference teams, first and second all conference teams. It determines MVP. It determines freshman of the year, coach of the year, those kind of things. Right now, we actually are sitting in second place in the conference from the first roundup. We did pretty well in the first roundup, but I think we went maybe 9-3 or 11-3 or something to that effect. So we still have a chance to finish in first, and that's going to be our goal. It's an uphill battle for us because we need to make up some ground with Alabama State. I think is in first place now. It's doable, and that's our goal: is to win the regular season championship. Mm-hmm. We know we have a young team, but every year we start out is to win conference championships. So that's going to be our goal this weekend. Right now, we have at the top our senior is leading the conference with the highest average right now after the first roundup, and one of my freshmen is leading the conference as freshman of the year. So we did pretty well in the first one. We want to continue that and actually improve on the first roundup and hopefully finish up strong in the conference.
Great. So talk to us a little bit about as you come out of conference play, you'll have, you said, a good long rest.
Yes.
So that'll be really helpful for you to be able to work on some other things as you head into your next tournament after that. So talk to us a little bit about what your next tournament will be after your SWAC tournament this weekend.
Okay. Yes. We are really looking forward to this break, because it's been a continuation actually for 3 weekends in a row. We have been on the road, so we've had tournaments 3 weeks straight, and we look forward to this break. I look forward to this break, but it also is going to be good for the team because it will give us actual time to actually focus on improvements, to work on our physical game, and we've kind of been limited to do that because of preparing for tournaments every week in practice. So it gives us time now to kind of back up and put in some time on actually breaking down our games and working on the physical things that we need to work on to make each individual better and improve. And then we will be coming into the next tournament, which is Vanderbilt's tournament. It is the last tournament of the year nationally. It's the biggest tournament of the year, and so it's a good event for us. It's a huge challenge for us, and we want to be able to go there and represent the university. But also, it gives us an opportunity to see what we're looking like from that month of work and challenges that we're going to be going through, and also prepare for our SWAC championships, which comes up the next weekend following that event. So we want to end the season on a good note. Having that break will give us some time to really work on some things to get prepared for the end of the year.
Great. So as we wrap up today, talk to us a little bit about, you talked about lane patterns and how that functions as a defense for you. Talk to us a little bit about when we're watching the game, we're cheering you on. How do we know what to cheer for score-wise?
Well, score-wise, it's really easy. Cheer for strikes.
Excellent.
Always cheer for strikes. It's always good to get strikes, but in our sport, even though strikes are good, they're not guaranteed. So actually what a lot of people don't realize is spares win games. And that's what the challenge is with the team, is to try to make them understand, we want strikes. Strikes are good, but they're not guaranteed. What wins games is closing frames. So it's a challenge to get them to really stay focused on picking up what's left on the second ball if you don't get a strike. And so that's what you want to cheer for. Cheer for us closing frames. But we always want strikes.
So we should cheer for the strikes and cheer louder for the spare.
That's correct.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely.